Hi everyone, this is Eliza. Welcome back to Eliza's Bookshelf, or welcome if you're new. Today I want to wrap up or give a summary of how my Losers Club readathon went. So I went in starting pretty strong, I think. And then the last like 3-4 days, I just did not read anything in this readathon. And I'll tell you why. The readathon started two Fridays ago, and then it ran for a week. And actually, when I first started, I didn't even know. I was just like, when is the readathon? Maybe I should check. And this is at the end of Friday, and I was like, crap, it started today. Good thing I was already starting a like creepy type of a setting book that could have counted for one of my prompts. So let's get to it. I did do like a TBR for the readathon. I think it was about, how many books? So it's probably like 8 or 6 books. But I didn't get to any of them except for the buddy read that we did. I made it a goal to complete all the prompts and get a key to the city, but I did not. And I am a step down. I am a Derry resident, which is totally fine with me. So let's go over the books that I read. One of the prompts that I did is the secondhand book, and I'm not sure if this actually fits, but I'm gonna say it does so I can become a Derry resident, but it is a secondhand book, and that one I chose Jeanette McCurdy's I'm Glad My Mom Died. So that one I borrowed from the library, and I'm counting that as a secondhand book. But I liked it. I think everything that I heard about that book had to deal with like her mom, Nickelodeon, but I didn't expect that a lot of it had to do with her problems with her disordered eating, her bulimia, anorexia, binge eating disorder, and I really like that she went into it. I think her writing style really shows how much she learned through therapy, through working on herself, because she writes in a way that you can tell that she knows whatever happened in the past was wrong, but that's what it is, and that's what she took it as in the past. And so it's really crazy to hear. In the beginning, I liked hearing about how she became an actress at a young age to make her mom happy. I liked hearing about her relationship with her mom. It's very like, she loves her mom, she wants to make her happy, and then she's not happy. But what really hit home was like her eating disorder, because you can see her thought process about why she's doing certain things. And I think it's so brave of her to write it out this way, because I feel like it can be triggering. So just keep in mind, if you have any sort of like problems or problematic relationships with food or eating, it can be kind of upsetting to hear, but I think it's really important to hear. So yes, I really like that one. It's not really in tune with the spooky, Stephen King theme, but let's just put it in there. The other one that I did was a buddy read. No, I'll talk about that next. So the next one I want to talk about is the book with a female protagonist, and that one I read Everything We Didn't Say by Nicole Bart. I was talking about this a lot when we were doing like the reading sprints and stuff like that, but no one has heard of this, or no one really knows about this book. It's one of my book of the month picks, and I'm glad I finally read this one, because check mark, one book of the month done again. I think I need to do like 5 more book of the month books by the end of this year. But anyway, so Everything We Didn't Say, it's like a small town mystery thriller, but basically, and it's told in dual timelines. So you get in the past and then you get now. So in the past, we have this family, we have these 2 siblings, brother, sister. They have like a group of friends, this one guy who's really close to the brother, but also like has some sort of relationship with the girl and the friend, things like that, right? Small town, everyone's in each other's business. But they also have this neighbor, like an older couple neighbor that they're really close with. They help out with their farm and stuff like that. There's an issue though about that farm wanting to do everything organic, and another people's farm who are having a lot of pesticides and things like that, or chemicals. And those type of things are kind of like seeping in to, I don't want to get too much into it, but basically there's that couple, right, that they're super close with, and they help with everything. But that couple ends up being murdered, and everyone thinks that it is the brother, right? And the brother, I think, got out eventually, but there's also all this, drama around him because the town thinks that he did it anyways. He's free though, because they couldn't find any actual evidence to convict him. So flash forward to now, there's the sister who actually is far away. She moved away to get away from all of this drama, all of this craziness, right? But she is finding out that someone is running a podcast who is trying to take her brother down and be like, I know exactly what happened. I'm going to uncover all the secrets. I'm going to expose him and, you know, basically have him locked up. And so she wants to come back to town and try to figure out who is this podcaster who is trying to take down her brother. So you get into a lot of like, what exactly happened a long time ago. And I really liked it. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be. What I really enjoyed about this book is the relationship between the female protagonist and her brother. Obviously with that crazy thing that happened a long time ago, they're not as close anymore, but you can see how good their relationship was before, and they're trying to rebuild it and stuff like that. So if I'm remembering correctly, I remember who done it, and it's just crazy. I guess you'll figure out who murdered the neighbor. Is it the brother? Did he have something to do with it? Was there someone else involved? I don't know. I'm not gonna say much. I have a tendency to kind of over spoil things, but yes, I really like this one. I forgot what I rated it. I think if I were to say now, maybe like 4, but this was really good. This met my female protagonist. It is dual timeline. It is really good. Okay, and then the other one is Creepy Setting, and I picked A History of Wild Places, also a book of the month pick, which I'm doing really good so far. Pat on the back. I buddy read this with Kaylee. I think we just kind of like read through it really quick, and then at the end we just told our thoughts about it. But basically, it's a little bit like fantasy thriller type of book. There's this guy who has these special abilities where if he touches specific objects, then he'll see what happened with the person who ever touched that object. For example, if he were to touch this book, he would see me just reading it all the time, right? No life. Anyways, so there's that guy. He has that ability. So a lot of detectives or police people, whatever, they hire him to try to figure out crimes and stuff that they can't solve. He gets hired to find this woman who is an author, Maggie St. James. And so when he goes to find her, it leads him to this island. Is it an island or is it just like foresty? I don't know if it's an actual island. I think it's like out in the forest, whatever, right? So it leads him there, and he actually goes missing. So we have a woman who's missing, this guy who looks for her in the forest, and he goes missing, and then you're trying to figure out what is so crazy about this forest, what's going on, right? Going in, I was like, what is this crazy forest? Is it like haunted? Is it magical? I don't know what's going on, right? I really did not know. But when you read more about this book, you read about the forest itself and who is there and what's going on. I don't want to give away too much because I actually really like this one too. The only thing that I had to say was that it's very disturbing. That's the only thing. But overall, I like the story. It seems like a good story that my husband and I would watch on TV. And I would mention the movie that it reminds me of, but I actually don't want to give anything away because I do hope some people out there see this video and read it because I really liked it. But it reminds me of one of those thriller movies that my husband and I would watch, and we are planning to watch in October for like our Spooky-thon. Anyways, I really like this one. I guess we'll see what Kaylee thinks about it in her wrap up as well. But we finally, she's doing a countdown to 0, so I hope this helps out with her countdown to 0 goals. But I picked this up, and I remember it was in her TBR or must read, whatever, to finish all of her book of the month. And I was like, Kaylee, I saw this on your list. Let's read it, basically. This meets the Creepy Setting. And then we'll go into my 4th and last book that I read. So I read 4 books, but I'm counting this as 2 prompts so I can become a Derry resident. The other 2 prompts that I did was buddy watch the movie together and also make a drink, which I just made like coffee. But anyways, so the buddy read was 1922, and this is what got me to stop the whole readathon because this was so gruesome and so freaky. It was like horrific, and it was just very depressing and bleak, and I was like, I need to read some romance. So this 1922, I believe in the back he said something that I was like, you are spot on, Stevie King, you did it. Let me read to you what he said. Author's note. 1922 was inspired by a nonfiction book called Wisconsin Death Trip, 1973, written by Michael Leslie and featuring photographs taken in the small city of Black River Falls, Wisconsin. I was impressed by the rural isolation of these photographs and the harshness and deprivation in the faces of many of the subjects. I wanted to get that feeling in my story. Well, you did it. It was so sad and depressing. So 1922, basically this guy and his wife and his son live together in their farm. They have like hundreds of acres, and the wife gets more acres that's passed down from her dad or something like that. Anyway, so she wants to sell it, and she wants to sell it as a bulk with their land and move somewhere like a city area to open up her sewing alteration shop, right? But he does not like it because he's like, this is where my family's from. This is where we grew up. I wanted to pass this land on to my son, you know? So they have an argument, and his solution is like, I'm going to kill my wife. So it is like a novella. It's not that long, but it's like, it feels long. It feels like it's never ending sadness. You know, I don't know. I guess I was not expecting her to die in the first like 20 pages. So things happen really early on, and then you get the consequences of it throughout the whole book. And this is one of the books that when I'm reading it, I'm like, this is so crazy. It sounds so scary. My imagination is just going off the charts. And it's one of those things that I always try to tell my husband, because he's always telling me, you know, I don't understand how you can get scared from books. And my argument is always like, my imagination probably can be wild. And so it's so true with this one, because we watched the movie together, and when I watched everything, I was like, I imagined it way worse in my head. So yeah, after this book, I felt like I could not read another horror, creepy setting book. So I just stopped, and I read a lot of romances. Anyways, that was my readathon. I set my goal really high. I kind of knew that I would not finish all of them, but I'm happy with being a Derry resident. Yes. Saying that now, I don't know why I wanted that so much, because I don't want to live there. Freaking no. Anyway, so that was my readathon. I really enjoyed it. I just need to pick up some like lighter, fluffier novels and romances, and then I'll get back into the spooky horror game in time for October. But yeah, I hope you like this one. I think what really helped me going in was doing a lot of those reading sprints. So I'll link those channels down below, but I did reading sprints with Sky, with Meredith, and of course with the 3 girls who are hosting this fantastic readathon. So thank you. I am so excited to do this readathon yearly, and maybe next year I will buy a lot of their merch, because they have a lot of like sweaters, and what else? I feel like they had something else, maybe tote bags or something, but maybe next year I'll buy more stuff. Anyways, I hope you liked my little Losers Club readathon summary wrap up. Thank you so much for joining. I will see you guys next time. Bye.